Long before coins existed, the people of ancient Canaan traded goods. This system was called barter. A farmer might trade a sack of wheat for a clay pot, a shepherd might exchange a lamb for some tools. This was a simple way to get what you needed. However, it was not always easy. The value of goods could change, and honestly, finding someone who had what you wanted and wanted what you had was often difficult. This made large-scale trade complicated and sometimes unfair. People needed a better, more consistent way to measure value. The idea of a standard weight began to solve this problem. In the ancient Near East, a unit of weight called the shekel was created. At first, the shekel was not a coin. It was a specific weight of silver or barley. People would weigh pieces of silver on scales to complete a transaction. This was a big step forward from simple bartering. It created a common standard that everyone could understand and trust. This system made trade more efficient and allowed for the growth of larger economies across the region. Ancient texts, including the Hebrew Bible, mention the shekel as a unit of weight used for payments and contributions. The use of weighed silver, often in the form of rings, bars, or unmarked lumps, became common. Archaeologists have found hoards of this early form of money, known as hack silver. People would cut off a piece of silver and weigh it to make a payment. This method was more precise than bartering animals or grain. It showed a growing need for a reliable medium of exchange. This period represents a crucial transition. It moved society away from direct trade of goods and toward a system based on precious metals, setting the stage for the invention of actual coins. Eventually, the idea of stamping these pieces of metal with a mark of authority emerged. This innovation happened in Lydia, in modern-day Turkey, around the 7th century BCE. The stamp guaranteed the weight and purity of the metal. This meant people no longer had to weigh the metal for every single transaction. The concept of the coin was born. This revolutionary idea spread quickly through trade networks. It would soon reach the land of Israel, forever changing the way people bought and sold goods and services, and introducing a new chapter in economic history. The Persian Empire conquered the region in the 6th century BCE. They brought with them their own advanced system of coinage. The most famous Persian coins were the gold darak and the silver siglos. These coins were used throughout their vast empire, including the province of Yehud or Judea. For the first time, people in Judea were using officially minted coins on a large scale. This made trade with other parts of the empire much easier. Local economies became more connected to the wider world. The Persian coins were a symbol of the empire's power and organization. Under Persian rule, local authorities in Yehud were allowed to mint their own small silver coins. These were some of the first coins ever produced by Jews. They were tiny, often smaller than a fingernail. The designs on these coins were very interesting. They carefully avoided human images, following the Second Commandment's prohibition against graven images. Instead, they used symbols like lilies, which represented Jerusalem. Some coins even had inscriptions in Aramaic or Paleo-Hebrew, with the word Yehud, clearly identifying their origin. These small coins are very important historical artifacts. The conquests of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BCE brought the Hellenistic period. Greek culture and practices spread across the Middle East. This included their sophisticated coinage. The coins of Alexander, featuring the head of Heracles and later the coins of his successors, the Ptolemies and Seleucids, became the main currency. These coins were of a very high artistic quality. They featured realistic portraits of rulers and detailed images of Greek gods. This was a major change from the symbolic designs of the earlier Yehud coins and introduced new artistic ideas to the region. The widespread use of Greek coins had a big impact on the local population. While the Jewish people resisted many aspects of Hellenistic culture, they adopted the use of this new money for daily life. The Ptolemaic and Seleucid mints, located in coastal cities like Akko and Ashkelon, produced large quantities of coins. These coins circulated widely throughout Judea. The presence of these foreign coins shows the powerful influence of the Greek empires. They controlled the economy, and their coins were a constant reminder of who was in charge, setting the stage for future conflicts over culture and autonomy. The Maccabean revolt in the 2nd century BCE led to the establishment of an independent Jewish kingdom under the Hasmonean dynasty. This was a very important moment for Jewish independence. For the first time in centuries, Jewish rulers had the power to mint their own coins. The first Hasmonean ruler to do so was John Hyrcanus I. His coins were small bronze coins known as prutot. They were not made of silver or gold, but they were very symbolic. They represented the new autonomy of the Jewish state and were a powerful statement of national pride. The designs on Hasmonean coins were deliberately different from the surrounding Hellenistic coins. Instead of showing a portrait of the ruler, which was against Jewish tradition, they used a variety of powerful symbols. A common design was a double cornucopia, a horn of plenty, with a pomegranate in the center. This symbolized agricultural abundance and prosperity for the new kingdom. Other symbols included an anchor, representing their control of coastal areas, and a star, which may have had messianic meaning. These symbols were chosen to connect the new kingdom with ancient Jewish traditions. The inscriptions on these coins were also very significant. They were written in Paleo-Hebrew, the ancient script of the Israelite kings, or in Greek. The Hebrew inscriptions often read, Yehohanan the high priest and the council of the Jews. This showed that the ruler's authority was both religious and political. Using the ancient Hebrew script was a way to link the Hasmonean dynasty to the glorious past of King David and King Solomon. It was a clear message that they were restoring a true Jewish kingdom in the land of their ancestors. One of the most famous Hasmonean rulers was Alexander Jannaeus. He produced a massive number of coins, more than any other Hasmonean king. His most common coin features an anchor on one side and a star or wheel on the other. These coins are found all over Israel today, a testament to his long and powerful reign. The Hasmonean coins are a direct link to this period of Jewish independence. They are not just money. They are historical documents that tell the story of a people reclaiming their sovereignty and creating a national identity through the symbols they chose to circulate. When the Romans took control of Judea, they installed Herod the Great as a client king. Herod was a great builder, but he was also very careful to respect Roman authority. This is reflected in the coins he minted. Like the Hasmoneans, Herod did not put his own portrait on his coins. This was done to avoid offending the religious sensibilities of his Jewish subjects. Instead, his coins featured a variety of neutral symbols. These included a tripod, a helmet, an anchor, and a palm branch. These symbols were acceptable to both Jews and Romans. The inscriptions on Herod's coins also show his careful political balancing act. They were written only in Greek, the common language of the Eastern Roman Empire. The inscriptions usually read, "Of King Herod." There was no mention of his role as a high priest or any reference to the Jewish people. This showed that his power came directly from Rome, not from the Jewish council. His coins were a tool of statecraft. They promoted an image of stability and prosperity under his rule, while clearly acknowledging the ultimate power of his Roman patrons. After Herod's death, his kingdom was divided among his sons. They also minted their own coins, continuing the Herodian style. When Judea later came under direct Roman rule, the administration was handled by Roman prefects and procurators. These officials, including Pontius Pilate, also issued coins. These small bronze coins, called pruto, were the common currency of the everyday people, the same coins mentioned in the New Testament. They were minted locally in Jerusalem, and were used for small daily transactions in the marketplace. The designs on these Roman provincial coins were often simple. They featured symbols like a palm tree, a symbol of Judea, or items related to Roman religion like a lichus, a divining staff used by Roman priests. The use of a Roman religious symbol on coins circulating in Jerusalem sometimes caused tension. These coins are a clear indication of the political situation. Judea was no longer an independent kingdom. It was a province of the vast Roman Empire, and the money in people's pockets was a constant daily reminder of this fact. In 66 CE, the Jewish people rose up in a massive rebellion against Roman rule. This was the first Jewish revolt. During this brief period of independence, the rebels minted their own powerful and symbolic coins. These were not small bronze coins, they were large, beautiful silver shekels and half shekels. Minting silver coins was a declaration of sovereignty. It was a right that only the Roman emperor had. By striking their own silver shekels, the Jewish rebels were declaring themselves a free state, directly challenging the authority of Rome. The designs on these revolt coins were filled with deep meaning. One side featured a chalice, or cup, which may have represented a vessel used in the temple in Jerusalem. Above the cup, the inscription in ancient Paleo-Hebrew read, Shekel of Israel. On the other side was a staff with 3 pomegranates, perhaps symbolizing the high priest's staff. The inscription here read, Jerusalem the Holy. These coins completely abandoned Greek inscriptions and Roman symbols. They used the ancient Hebrew script and sacred symbols to inspire the people and declare their mission to free Jerusalem and restore the temple. The second Jewish revolt, known as the Bar Kokhba revolt, took place from 132 to 135 CE. Led by the charismatic leader Shimon Bar Kokhba, this rebellion also produced an extraordinary series of coins. The rebels did not have the resources to create new coins from scratch. Instead, they took existing Roman coins like silver denarii and provincial bronze coins, and struck their own designs over them. This act of overstriking was itself an act of defiance. It was like erasing the face of the emperor and replacing it with a symbol of Jewish freedom. The Bar Kokhba coins feature a rich variety of symbols connected to the temple and Jewish holidays. One of the most common designs shows the facade of the temple in Jerusalem, which had been destroyed 60 years earlier. This was a powerful symbol of their goal to rebuild it. Other symbols included a lulav and etrog, used during the festival of Sukkot, and musical instruments like trumpets and lyres. The inscriptions, such as "For the Freedom of Jerusalem," were a clear call to arms and a promise of redemption. These revolt coins are some of the most historically important and emotionally powerful artifacts in all of Jewish history. After the defeat of the Bar Kokhba revolt, the Romans renamed the province Syria Palestina. For several centuries, Roman and then Byzantine coins were the primary currency. The Byzantine Empire was Christian and its coins reflected this. The coins, especially the gold solidus, frequently featured a portrait of the emperor on one side. On the other side, they displayed Christian symbols like the cross. This was a significant change from the earlier pagan Roman coins. The cross became a dominant feature on the money used throughout the Holy Land. The Byzantine mints in cities like Jerusalem produced local bronze coins for everyday use. These coins were less artistic than the gold and silver issues, but were vital for the economy. They often featured large letters like M, which represented the number 40, indicating their value in a smaller unit called a numus. The presence of these coins with Christian symbols throughout the land marked a major cultural shift. The region was now officially part of a Christian empire, and the money people used every day reinforced this new identity. In the 7th century CE, Arab armies conquered the region, bringing it under Islamic rule. The first Islamic coins were heavily influenced by the coins that were already in use. The new rulers initially copied Byzantine and Sasanian, or Persian, coin designs. They would mint coins that looked very similar to Byzantine coins, sometimes even keeping the image of the emperor. However, they would add a short inscription in Arabic, such as Bismillah, meaning "in the name of God." This was a transitional phase as the new empire established its own unique system. By the end of the 7th century, a major coinage reform took place under the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik. He introduced a completely new type of coinage that was purely Islamic and epigraphic. These new gold dinars and silver dirhams had no images at all. Instead, both sides were covered with inscriptions from the Quran and other religious statements in the Arabic script. This aniconic style was a radical departure from the portrait-based coins of the Romans and Byzantines. It became the standard for Islamic coinage for centuries and represented the firm establishment of Islamic civilization in the region. In 1099, European knights of the First Crusade captured Jerusalem and established a series of Crusader states. These new kingdoms began to mint their own coins. The coinage of the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem is particularly fascinating. The early rulers minted gold coins that were imitations of Islamic dinars. These coins, called bezants, had Arabic inscriptions but were often garbled because the artisans could not read the script. They copied the design because this type of gold coin was trusted and widely accepted in the trade of the region. The silver coins of the Crusaders, known as deniers, had a more European appearance. They typically featured a stylized image of the Tower of David or the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. The inscriptions were in Latin with the name of the ruler and the title King of Jerusalem. These coins were a blend of European, feudal and local Levantine influences. They show how the Crusaders tried to establish their own identity in a land that was culturally very different from their homes in Europe. The coins were a symbol of their military and political presence in the Holy Land. The Crusader period was followed by the rule of powerful Islamic dynasties, first the Ayyubids founded by Saladin and then the Mamluks. These dynasties restored Islamic-style coinage. The Ayyubid and Mamluk coins were known for their high quality, especially the silver dirhams and gold dinars. The inscriptions were in beautiful Arabic calligraphy, often including the ruler's name and titles, as well as religious phrases. Some Mamluk sultans added a small emblem or rank to their coins, such as a lion which represented the Sultan Baybars. In 1517 the Ottoman Empire conquered the region, and it remained under Ottoman rule for 400 years. The Ottomans had a complex and centralized coinage system. Coins were minted in major imperial centers like Constantinople and Cairo. The gold, silver and copper coins of the Ottoman sultans circulated throughout the empire, including in Palestine. These coins featured the tugura, an intricate calligraphic monogram of the sultan's name, which served as his official seal. The presence of these coins, with the tugura of a distant sultan, symbolized Ottoman control over the land until the early 20th century. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and the British took control of Palestine under a mandate from the League of Nations. One of the first tasks of the new administration was to create a stable and modern currency. For a few years, Egyptian currency was used, but it was not a permanent solution. In 1927, the British Mandate government introduced a new currency called the Palestine Pound. This was a completely new monetary system, designed specifically for the region. The Palestine Pound was equal in value to the British pound sterling. The coins of the British Mandate were unique and carefully designed. To reflect the three official languages of the Mandate, the coins had inscriptions in English, Arabic, and Hebrew. The name of the country, Palestine, was written in all three languages. The Hebrew inscription included the letters Aleph and Yud in parentheses after Palestina, standing for Eretz Yisrael, or Land of Israel. This was a significant compromise and a recognition of the Jewish connection to the land. It was a very important symbolic gesture for the Jewish community. The designs on the Mandate coins were simple and neutral. They avoided any religious or overtly political symbols that could cause conflict between the different communities. The main design element was an olive branch, a universal symbol of peace and a common feature of the local landscape. The coins were minted in different denominations from 1 mil to 100 mils. They were well made and became a trusted medium of exchange for all the inhabitants of the land, Jews, Arabs, and British alike. This currency system helped to modernize the local economy. The Palestine Pound remained the official currency until the end of the British Mandate in May 1948. When the State of Israel was declared, the new government needed to create its own currency quickly. The first Israeli coins were essentially a continuation of the Mandate coinage system. The new government took Mandate banknotes and stamped them with the new state's authority. The coins themselves were used for a few more years until Israel could design and mint its own. The British Mandate currency thus served as a crucial bridge, providing economic stability during a period of intense political change. With the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, the new nation began the process of creating its own national currency. The first series of coins was issued in 1949. The name chosen for the currency was the pruta, the same name as the small bronze coins from the Hasmonean and Roman periods. This choice was very deliberate. It was a way for the new state to connect itself directly to the ancient history of Jewish sovereignty in the land. The designs on these first coins were inspired by the coins of the Jewish revolts against Rome. As Israel's economy grew, the currency changed. In 1960, the pruta was replaced by the agora, and the main unit became the Israeli lira. The coins from this period continued the theme of reviving ancient symbols. For example, one agora coin featured the 3 ears of barley from a bar kokhba coin. The 5 agora coin showed the 3 pomegranates from the first revolt shekels. The half-lira coin used the symbol of the menorah. Each coin was a small history lesson linking the modern state to its ancient roots and celebrating the continuity of Jewish history. In 1980, due to high inflation, the lira was replaced by the shekel. This was an even more powerful historical statement. The name shekel was brought back, not as a unit of weight, but as the name of the national currency, directly referencing the silver shekels of the first Jewish revolt. In 1985, another reform led to the new shekel, which is the currency of Israel today. The coins of the new shekel series beautifully continue the tradition of using ancient Jewish coin designs as their inspiration. The modern Israeli 1 shekel coin, for example, features a lily that is copied directly from the small silver Yehud coins of the Persian period. The 2-shekel coin displays the double cornucopia from the coins of the Hasmonean king John Hyrcanus I. The 10-shekel coin shows a palm tree with 2 baskets, a design taken from a Bar Kokhba coin. This practice turns everyday money into a carrier of cultural identity. It connects the past with the present, reminding Israelis and the world of the nation's long and epic history every time they handle a coin. The journey of Israeli coinage, from ancient weights to modern currency, is a miniature reflection of the journey of the Jewish people themselves.